Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the Harping on Rugby preview show on our YouTube channel. Please be sure to hit that like and or subscribe button if you can. I'm happy to welcome back to his regular spot after a couple of weeks off as someone earning Harping cap number 126. It's Mr. Neil Keegan.
How are we? I'm looking forward to Friday night rugby. I'm looking forward to Christmas. As you can see, I'm already in the Aviva just in case something happens early. So I'm on the spot here.
Absolutely, you got to get there to check it out. Well, before we go on, Kigo, just your quick thoughts on Leinster's opening Champions Cup wins.
Yeah, trying to be quick about it because I don't really know. When you're watching it, things are going well and then things are not going well. There's a lot of un-Leinster mistakes, which are a little bit worrying. But then, similar to the Fergie teams of the 90s, winning ugly is not a bad trait to have. So we're finding a way to win these games. The opposition maybe is not always showing up for us to compete against, but we're finding a way to win ugly at the moment. I would like that to turn around a little bit. I'd like our rugby to go to Turkey and get some new teeth, get some new hair, and be a little bit prettier going into Christmas.
Especially Turkey at this time of year. But no, but yeah, no, you're right. A lot of people said, I think the best thing I've heard people say about the two displays was, well, a win is a win, and it is true, and especially given the way the season began. So I think that hopefully that a few wins in a row will help get us back into the form we come to expect. Okay, well, let's have a look at our feature match of the week, which is, of course, Leinster v Ulster in round 7 of the BKT United Rugby Championship. It's taking place at the Aviva Stadium on Friday, September 19th, kicking off at 7:45 p.m. with TV coverage on TG Cahir, Premier Sports 1 and URC.tv. Now, Leinster named their matchday squad at lunchtime on Thursday. If you're watching on YouTube, it should be right there in the screen, or for podcast listeners, it's in the program notes. Now, Kigo has picked out some points, starting with Mr. James Ryan.
Yeah, listen, James Ryan, 100 caps. What a shift. It's been a tough 100 caps for him. Sometimes you find people suddenly have 100 caps and you go, Genie Mack, they only started yesterday. Ryan has had injuries. He's had a couple of blips on the pitch in terms of cards. So to get 100 in that position, playing that well for such a long time is a great thing. So, and listen, there's a lot of gas in the boots still to go. So we'll be having this conversation pretty soon with a 2 on the beginning of that.
Yeah, I mean, we were wondering what kind of team Leinster would put out because, like we said, because of the start of the season, we can't really afford to rest too many players for over these next two interpros over Christmas. And it's good to see James Ryan in there starting. And obviously, it's amazing to see he's at 100 caps. I mean, it does seem like kind of yesterday when he was just coming through into the team, but now he's like an well established member of both Leinster and Ireland, and the Lions. Got into the Lions squad as well, so he's doing well. It's an interesting lineup in the pack. Your second point was about the skipper, Jack Conan.
Yeah, and we keep talking about it whenever we are talking about it. That Conan is like he's possibly the unluckiest number 8 in the history of the world. Every time he gets a run of games, something happens. He's a class player in a position where we have hundreds of eights. But in the last kind of maybe 5 seasons or so, he's been captain on these games where, the season could fall apart this weekend. We haven't had the start we need, so that's extra pressure. That's why you need a captain like Conan stepping in there who's going to take the ball. And he's gonna try and change the game by himself. He's a Bray man. He's a little bit stubborn, like most of us fellas from Bray. And if the game is needed to be grabbed by the scruff of a neck, there's no better buckle to do it than a fella from Bray.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we before the season began, we looked at our best Leinster team, and we kept leaving him out of it, and you
Yeah.
just wonder, is there any team on the continent who would do that, who could do that? So when it's opportunity for him to play it, at least play, or in this case, be captain. I mean, there's
Hmm.
like you say, no better man to bring in. And in the forwards, like it's an interesting pack. It's not a pack we've seen. Jack Boyle comes in. He's going to want to put in a good shift. Good to see Rabah Slimani. He's going up
Yep.
against a Wallaby. And Brian Deeney has quietly done well. So he'll be partnering Ryan. But it's the bench in the pack that I think is the key here. Dan Sheehan, Paddy McCarthy, Tyke Furlong, Joe McCarthy, Max Deegan. there's something in me. I want to see all five of them come on the pitch at the same time after 60 minutes. I mean, it's got a real bomb squad kind of feel to it, but we'll see what happens there. But it is a very strong lineup for this time of year, compared to recent years. But going into the backs quickly, you want to have a quick word about Mr. Kieran Frawley?
Yeah, and listen, again, had a good shift in there in the midfield last week. Some really, really good options taken by him, and I thought, okay, now let's put Rico right beside him in the following week. Let's get this party started. And then all of a sudden, he's playing. He's 15. He's playing today on Friday, and you kind of go like, yes, I know he can play everywhere. That's the skill he's got. He's a big boy. He's very athletic. But let's just pick one part of the pitch for him to play in. Even if we're saying, right, we're starting you at 6, Kieran, pick something and let's let him get into that position, because like I can only imagine at the top level, you're playing 12 one week, you put in a good shift and you feel good going home. All of a sudden you're playing full back. All the stuff that you did the week before, the couple of weeks before, it's a completely different game you're playing back there. It's a different mindset, and not that he can't do it. Obviously he can, but let's just pick one spot. Way back in the day, Luke Fitzgerald had a similar issue where we played him nearly everywhere, from water boy nearly to front row, and the poor fella just got confused, overran everything. We don't want that happening again. So I think, as great as it is, we got to get our best players on the pitch whenever we can. Let's just pick one area of the pitch for Frawley to operate in.
Yeah, we talk a lot about adversity when it comes to Irish rugby, and I think he's faced more than most over the course of his career, and just to have him settle in a position. And of course, now you got the rugby gods working against him. Hugo Keenan, first choice fullback; Jamie Osborne for second choice. We tried Jimmy O'Brien for a couple of weeks. He limped off at Welford Road, so kind of by default, I think that they agree with the Keego. I think they want to keep him in one position if they can, and 12 really seemed to suit the style that Leinster were playing.
Yeah.
But needs must. He can do a good job at fullback, and unfortunately, he moves in there. And when you look at the back line, it's another chance for Sam to shine on the big stage. He's going to have Luke McGrath there with him. James Lowe into the squad. That's good. Charlie Tector coming into 12 alongside Rico Iwani. It's a similar. We had Robbie Henshaw there last week. It's a similar kind of bring it to the line, strong carrying center pairing we've got there. And let's not forget Mr. JJ Kenny there on the wing. It's just, he's getting another start. He has really impressed so far. It's another big stage, another chance for him. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, it's time to have a quick look at Ulster. After a disappointing 24-25 campaign, Richie Murphy's men have gotten off to a great start in the URC, currently sitting 4th with the game in hand on those above them. Although after easily dispatching Racing to start their Challenge Cup pool, a late scrum penalty cost them in their last outing in Cardiff. They're really going to be up for this one, Keego.
They fancy it, as we keep saying it at the beginning of the season. Everyone fancies it now, and their players coming back, McCluskey coming back, and I'd say when he looks at that midfield, Rico coming in, still settling in, and Charlie going in there as well, I think he's licking his lips. There's another opportunity for him to put a marker down for the big jersey, but like, they're ready to rock and they're playing well. They seem to be getting along well. I know they had a bit of an issue last week, but that win against Racing, which is not the same as it would have been in years gone by, no one really cares about that. It's the name on the jersey, and they really demolished them. So like, they're going to fancy it. There'll be a lot of our brothers and sisters at the game. So it's going to be great crack. But I'm a little bit worried. I do like the Leinster selection, but Jeannie Mac, that Ulster squad are ready to rock.
It's a very, very close to their strongest possible 15 anyway. You got to, like you say, McCoskey back. Osselthwaite, I think, has been out as well. That's a really strong center pairing for them. And then Werner Koch on the wing, Balakoon, Stockdale's coming into a bit of form. He'll want to show what he can do at 15 as well, with all those injuries as well, with the Six Nations in mind. So up front, they got Nick Timoney as their captain, that guy, and Juan Augustus, a strong carrier at number 8, and of course Angus Bell getting his first start for his new team as well. I don't know if their bench is as strong, but the thing we say about these benches, I mean, it's one thing to talk about the individuals, but it's how they play as a team, and I think that's been carrying Ulster this season. I think they've got a sense of what they want to do. I think they're playing for each other. I think that's getting the results for them. So it's a question: do we match them? We've got these great names coming on in the second half to fill, to see the game home, but can they do it for Leinster? So it's got the makings of a real cracking game here.
Absolutely spot on. You hit the nail on the head there. They're very clear in what the expectations are and what their jobs are. And you've seen that in the beginning of the season. Yes, I know they had a bit of a blip last week, but it's not a disaster. But they all know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And when you look at us this year in particular, there's a couple of half a step off on where we should be and where we should be positioned. And maybe things changed over the summer and they're trying to bring that in through the year and it'll hit at some point this year. But when you've got a team like Ulster who know exactly where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to be doing, Leinster could bring on all those players. If you can't beat the South Africans, join them and bring on a bomb squad. But like Ulster can spread that out over the entire game. Everyone is so clear on what they want to do. So that's going to be the interesting thing to see. Are they going to, if we put the pressure on, will they be secure in that knowledge and what they're supposed to be doing? Or is it still new, similar to Leinster? Are they going to kind of falter back? So it's going to be interesting to see.
Absolutely. Okay, so now a quick look at the officials. It's an all-Irish team with Andrew Brace holding the whistle. And the weather for D4 looks like it's going to behave. Officially, the weather is increasing cloudiness, which is it's kind of a generic kind of term for Dublin weather anyway. But no, it's relatively cool, 14% rain, not a lot of wind, so decent conditions for interpro rugby, which means it's time now to look at the other matches in the URC this weekend. What game stands out for you?
Yeah, we always talk about Connacht in our second game, and they're away to the Dragons. Again, they've had so much up. Great coach, great squad, great collection of players, with a couple more rumored to be coming in from overseas. But I think they need to steady the ship. Like what was the game? They went 21 something up and they lost 24-20. This cannot happen. It never happens to Lancaster teams. So they need to steady the ship. So hopefully this weekend, before they're over with us on the 27th, aren't they? Or
they're in January. We open. Yeah, Oh no, we open their new stands.
Their new stadium, yeah. So
yeah.
we need to, but they need to get momentum back before they come home. So hopefully they'll do it. But that's the other game I'll be watching this weekend.
Yep, they're away to the Dragons in Newport. We got Munster at the Ospreys, and probably at the top of the table, the Stormers have got to a stormer of a start this season, and they've got some derbies coming up for them. So they've got the Lions at home, so they could increase their lead again as well. We'll see how that goes. Okay, back to our feature match, and it's a head on the block time. Kiko, how do you see it going at the Aviva on Friday?
I don't know. I'm getting positive and then I'm not getting positive. I think the Christmas spirit is not quite in me until I turn the laptop off tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I'm hoping for a Leinster win. I think it's going to be closer than I would like. I think there's only a couple of kicks in it. I think it is that close. I think Ulster are a well-oiled machine, and there's going to be a purple patch for them, and there may be a navy blue patch for us, and we got to take advantage of it. We can't have cards. We can't have any of this nonsense, and I think we'll squeak out a 6-point win.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Just that 1% that moves weren't coming off last week. Like in Leicester, we had a great move off a line out in the early stages, and if Robbie Henshaw had just gone a fraction of a second later, probably would have settled. I think especially with this particular 23, given that bench we have, we're going to have to get off to a good start. We're going to have some kind of a lead. We're going to have to be in it, well in it, going into the final quarter. So it's going to be it should be a great interpro from start to finish. But we have to back Leinster. I'd say we'll do it. But like you say, there'll be a score in it, and it'll probably go the full 80.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, we're going to leave it there, man. What stand-up gigs have you got in the horizon?
So we have the last one of the year tonight in Mrs. Robinson Comedy Club. So that's in Greystones. Do pop out. If you come and see me, I'll sneak you in for free, and we'll get you a pint to celebrate. But that's the last one of the year, and then we back to it in January.
Brilliant stuff. And as ever, you'll find all Kiko's relevant links in the program notes. Well, thanks for joining us, sir, and hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Same to you and yours.
Indeed. And thanks to you all for checking out our latest preview show. Be sure to enjoy the match wherever you are, and also leave your thoughts on our Facebook page after the full-time whistle, and look out for that pod recording on Sunday evening. Hopefully you'll help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán.